Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
The Trojans coming in like a team on a mission as the Garden City Trojans have won 7 consecutive games, and today they host a Nassau County Conference B semifinal against the Cyclones of Southside. Pardon me. Good afternoon, everyone. Matt Shortis alongside Jack Stanky, and we are excited to bring you this Nassau County Boys Lacrosse Class B semifinal, a rematch of a game that we saw a few weeks ago. That was actually the last time Southside lost, as they also come into this game winning 4 consecutive games, most recently the quarterfinal victory over Calhoun. We're going to look at the tale of the tape between these two squads, and the first meeting between these two teams was an 8-4 Garden City victory. You take a look at the regular season records. Garden City 10-3, again knocking off 7 consecutive wins in conference and 4 straight wins for Southside, as the Cyclones have come in on a pretty hot note as well. But a few teams, Jack, I think are playing as hot as Garden City has, especially over the last 4 games. When you look at it, their offense, between a couple big wins over Herrick's, a win over East Meadow, their offense is scoring 19 goals per contest over the last 4 games, which is just mind-blowing.
You're completely right, Matt. And, talking about that offense, the Wednesday playoff game that was hosted here against the Herrick's Highlanders that the Garden City Trojans played in, they won 23-2. I mean, Ryan Conley, number 15, one of the better offensive players on this Garden City team, had 6 goals in the first 13 minutes of the game, just showing how dominant this Garden City offense can be. And
Southside had a pretty solid win in the quarterfinals as well, and TJ Sheehan for the Southside Cyclones had an impressive, you talked about Connolly. Sheehan had 6 goals in that game for the Cyclones.
Yeah, TJ Sheehan, Matt, again, a senior out of Southside. He's going to Denver next year to play lacrosse. One of the best players on the team. Has great vision. His IQ is off the charts. That matchup between Conley and Sheehan, one of the 2 attackmen on both teams, that's going to be a fun one to watch today.
And from the Garden City side of things, I think if you look at the first half between these two teams in the first meeting, it was 4-3 at halftime. One of the big difference makers in the second half was the play of Jack Cascadden and the way he controlled that face-off act, as he's done much of this season for the Trojans.
You're right. Jack Cascadin, Matt, is one of the best face-off men, not only in the county of Nassau, but on the entirety of Long Island as well. He's also a great football player as well, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And head coach for the Cyclones, Steve DiPietro, said that his team struggles with winning in the face-off X, with gaining possession of that ball. In the second half of that game, that's what happened. Cascadin turned up.
And, of course, you can't discount the experience in playoff games, big playoff games. You saw how he took over a game in the Nassau County Football Championship against MacArthur as well. So we're about ready for the anthem. We'll take a break on Varsity Media Sports Network.
As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Moments away from the opening face-off and a trip to the county championship game on the line on next Wednesday. We'll take a look at the starting lineups now. First for the visiting Cyclones of Southside. Again, coming in at 7-6 on the season. A pretty potent offense. TJ Sheehan, again, 6 goals in their last game. John Considine had 3 goals and 3 assists, with Melkonian rounding out the attack. A midfield of Kelly, West, and Meindl. Close defense with Lazito, Pat Erickson, and Chris Erickson. And Tommy Gentile played really well in the regular season meeting against Garden City. The Trojans 10-3 on the season. A very potent attack, especially of late with Connolly, Downey, and Engelke. Those guys have been averaging about 4 points a game over the last 4, each of them. In the midfield, the first line group will be Seal, Luke Schmidt, and Gerard O'Connor. Tristan Malahy getting the start on close defense today with Brendan Staub and Matt Kebhart. And we talked about Jack Cascadin, and Drew Quinn has been so steady between the pipes this season for Garden City.
Yeah, Matt, I definitely want to take a close look at that Garden City defense. Brendan Staub, one of the best in the country at his position, along with Matthew Kephart, the freshman, actually played a big part for the Trojans in the football season. It's going to be interesting to see how they play today.
It's interesting that there's Kephart being the freshman, but also a very potent sophomore class as well for Garden City. A lot of young guys getting some good minutes this season. We go to midfield for the face-off in just a moment. It'll be Cascadin and Thomas Haggerty. And again, I thought that was the difference in the regular season meeting. Haggerty held his own in the first half, and in the second half, Cascadin really turned things on. Steve DiPietro, the Southside head coach, said we got to do a better job of finding ways to make those balls 50-50 and keep Cascadin from winning them outright. Garden City in the home white. The opening draw won by Southside, and Haggerty gets the ball in to John Jude Considine, and the Cyclones will have the first possession of the game.
That's a rarity for the Garden City Trojans, seeing Cascadin lose the face-off in the middle circle, especially on the opening draw. Garden City is going to have to get that one back and control some possession. So frequently as he's been able to not only win the opening draw, but create offense out of that and get some quick scoring. He did it here against Cary. He did it on the road against Herrick, scoring 8 seconds in which was a Garden City romp. And what we saw in the regular season at Southside was the Cyclones really made it a defensive, slow-paced game. Steve DiPietro said in the past this was more of a run-and-gun type team, but the Cyclones playing possession-style offense against Garden City in the regular season matchup. And it was 2-1 after the first quarter, so that they played into that style. Here's Brady West moving left side. Good slide comes over for Malahy, the sophomore. You said that Poden sophomore class of the Garden City Trojans. You see that in Tristan Malahi right there, sliding over, getting the start today for the Trojans. Like I said before, that's going to be a spotlight for this team today.
I mean, it's not frequent that you see a county semifinalist Garden City team having 2 underclassmen start at the close defense, but that is what we have today. Here's a drive from Thomas Kelly. Not much doing for Southside just yet. We're a little over 90 seconds in a scoreless game. Well-timed check, and the ball knocked out of the stick of TJ Shea, and the stick knocked out of his hands as well. And the Trojans trying to move upfield. Well-timed pass, and here's DeLuca. Numbers for the Trojans if they hurry. DeLuca down low to the near side. Extra pass comes back up top to Archer, who misfires and shoots it high over the cage. But Garden City backing up, and the Trojans will go to work offensively.
Great defensive play there by Brendan Staub to set up that offensive attack there. He's going to Cornell along with Cascadin. You know, he's one of the best defensemen on the team and on Long Island as a whole. And Pierce Archer definitely visibly upset with himself after missing high on that first opportunity for them.
Archer, the defensive midfielder, stayed on for a moment, and now he's going to come off as the rest of the first line group comes on for Garden City and Gerard O'Connor. Something I thought was interesting in the regular season finale against MacArthur is Garden City played their substitution game very well. You wouldn't see it at this point in the game because of the close change, but they were using sort of delayed substitutions to create unsettled situations. So keep an eye on that in the second and fourth quarters. There's a dodge from up top, comes near side for Downey. Downey denied entry, well-timed check there. This is Ryan Connolly. Connolly coming up near side. Low shot, save made by Tommy Gentile.
Luke Schmidt there got the hands free right around the 25-yard line for the Trojans. Schmidt also the varsity quarterback, starter on the football team as well. One of the better midfielders, has a lot of speed, uses both hands very well. You can see why he's such a good player.
Some good time and space, and Gentile saw it the whole way. Here's a look up top. The ball gets away. It's scooped up by Southside. Ahead it comes to West over midfield. Unsettled situation for the Cyclones. West near side. Unable to be handled, though, by Meindl. Pardon me, that's Hegarty. Melkonian. And Garden City is able to create the turnovers. So both teams sort of unforced errors here in the last moment. Create opportunities for their opponents. And Schmidt walks it in for Garden City into the box. And they will wait for their offensive personnel to come on. Stevie Fennell coming out of the box and over midfield.
Stevie Fennell, son of head coach Steve Fennell. He, like you said before, is another underclassman. He's a sophomore coming in. You know, he's a good player. He's a strong kid. He knows what he's doing there on the field. He's got a great IQ. Definitely makes the right move at the right time for his team.
There's the junior Schmidt into the box, and it's Connolly directing traffic. Pardon me, make it Downey directing traffic down low. We played 4.5 minutes in a scoreless first quarter between Garden City and Southside in the Nassau County semifinals. Here's Downey coming GLE. Stick in the right hand, bothered on that near side by Pat Erickson. A shot pulling just wide over the left shoulder of Gentile. Good job by Connolly to back up.
I think both of these head coaches, Matt, definitely want to control the pace of play like they want to control the pace of play. I feel like both of them know what they're doing with this team. Of course, both having success in the playoffs and in their playing careers as well. I think that they definitely know what's going on with pace of play.
Here's Downey trying to use the screen of his defender against Gentile. That one off target. For sure, there's so much experience on the sidelines between both coaches. Steve Fennell in his 15th season. Steve DiPietro in his 12th season as head coach. And they have squared off a bunch over the years. Connolly up top. Extra pass down low for Downey. Downey shot hit the pipe and comes all the way out near midfield. A battle for it. Stayed on the Garden City offensive side of the field, and we'll have a whistle and an infraction against Garden City. So Southside will have it on the restart.
Tommy Gentile facing a lot of good opportunities from this Trojans offense, and he's shutting them down with these. Man, I mean, he would have started as a freshman year, says head coach Steve DiPietro. Very athletic, quick reflexes. You can see that there. A couple low shots taken by the Trojans offense. He's able to fend all of those off, some with his stick, some with his body. really good overall goaltender that the Cyclones have in net.
We saw them a few times, a handful of times over the course of the season. I thought the Garden City game, even in the loss, was probably one of Gentile's best games of the season. Scoreless contest midway through the first quarter of play in the Nassau County semifinals. Here's Kelly. Back to the net, changes hands to the left side. Kelly well defended by Costello down low. The long stick midfielder, Kelly trying to use his body. Costello standing strong. Up top for West. West on the roll dodge. Splits left side. A shot going wide. Backing up is Melkonian. So it'll stay with Southside. First shot of the game for Southside. Now, Garden City has fired probably 4 or 5 shots. 2 of them, I think, on target. This is Considine at a 6-point game in the quarterfinals. 3 goals and 3 assists. Committed to Hobart. He's chased out by Malahi. Malahi has been aggressive getting the start today in this first quarter. Melkonian up top. Some time and space. Low shot saved by Quinn going down to protect the 5-hole. Good outlet pass ahead for Brendan Staub. Numbers for the Trojans. Staub down low. It's Downey. Turnaround shot. And Gentile with the stop to usher it aside.
Great defensive play there by the Southside Cyclones. But I want to take a look at that Garden City run there. Brendan Staub already has 5 goals on the season as a defender. He can definitely run the field as well. And Downey, one of the taller kids, 6'6", getting the hands free. He loves to get to that top side and fire away shots.
Well executed offensively by Garden City. And it just took a strong save by Gentile to keep the Trojans off the board. Now that is something that Garden City could do. Their pulls offensively, especially Staub, really loves to get out and run. Here's a shot for Garden City and a goal. Gerard O'Connor getting the scoring started for the Trojans. And Garden City takes a 1-0 lead.
Gerard O'Connor, again, such a weapon there in the midfield for this Trojans offense. He's a good shooter, a great dodger. He's a great leader, said some of his teammates as well, and he's an excellent team player. He's headed off to Trinity next year, also captaining this Garden City team as well. You can see how the offense works for them through Gerard O'Connor.
So first goal of the game belongs to Garden City, belongs to the midfield of Garden City. And Kaskadin takes the face-off here. Here's Kaskadin with a head of steam. Well-timed check on the back check by Pat Erickson. Garden City retains possession, but that might have saved a goal for Southside.
You see Jack Kaskadin staying on the field as well, able to kind of control this offense, using that speed of his to get the opportunity there. Good check there by the Cyclones as well, but Kaskadin, you're so used to seeing Fogos hop off the field immediately after the draw. Look, he's still on there.
He was a big part of the second-man midfield unit early on in the season. They've primarily had him at the Fogo to give him a little bit more space. Here's a shot from Archer, saved by Gentile. Long rebound comes all the way out near the football 40. Kaskadin rakes it in to try and save it, but out of bounds. And it'll be Southside ball.
Gentile, man, I can't stress enough. He's playing out of his mind so far. This is only a 1-0 game, which is very surprising for both sides of the field right now. Garden City loves to run the offense, so does Southside as well. But Gentile is showing why he got the start here. Only a sophomore, 104 saves on the season. Only 7.5 goals allowed per game. Seems a little high, but when you see the competition that he's facing in this Class B division, you can honestly see why all these teams are scoring so much, and he's doing everything he can to shut that down.
It's on the higher side if you compare it to what this Trojans defense normally does.
Definitely.
Outlet pass successful to Considine. And 1-0 is the Garden City lead. 3:19 to go in the first quarter of a low-scoring game so far. Considine tied up, goal line extended, delayed penalty upcoming. Low shot, and that'll go out and wide, but a penalty coming up on the Trojans, and we'll have our first man-up chance of the game going to Southside.
Yeah, Matt, you said before how Tristan Malahi loves to play aggressive here, getting his first start of the season, coming into that starting role. He definitely wants to prove that, he deserves to stay on the defensive side of the ball. Just got a little too excited there, getting tripped up and that'll lead to a 30-second man-up advantage for the Cyclones.
He and Sheehan getting tied up. So the hold against Garden City, 3:04 to go in the first quarter. So if the full time elapses on the penalty, it will go to 2:34. First man-up chance of the game. There's Meindl up top. This is Considine. Those two playing catch. Considine again, loads, fires, pulls it wide. I guess Quinn got a piece of that. Loose in front, a scrum for it. Picked up by Southside. It was Considine with it. Now Southside's got it again. A whistle prior to the shot, though. And this is going to go, let's see, I'm waiting on the official. Looks like a hold against Garden City. Interesting whistle because Southside looked like they had the advantage. So the penalty expires. We are all even, back to 6-on-6. Successful kill for Garden City, but still not quite out of trouble as Southside has the possession. Here's a move inside, shot high off the stick of Sheehan.
TJ Sheehan making a nice move there for the Cyclones. Like I said before, he has great IQ. He made the nice move on Mike DeLuca, the midfielder for the Garden City Trojans, able to get the opportunity to get that pass, the hands free, and missing that shot high.
Tom Kelly starts on the restart, committed to the University of Tampa next year. West up top for Sheehan again. Kind of inverting and flipping back up from his attack position. Sheehan loads, fires, bouncer goes in. We are tied at 1 with 2 minutes to go in the first.
Big goal there from TJ Sheehan, able to do that. Let's take another look at that one there, as Sheehan was able to get the hands free, really stepped in, given a little too much room by the Garden City defense, and was able to beat Drew Quinn low and inside to tie this game up at 1.
So all knotted up at 1. As Sheehan, 6 goals in the last round on Monday against Calhoun, gets his first today. A whistle on the faceoff, and Cascadon is now 2 for 3 on faceoffs today.
Good.
Garden City, wouldn't be surprised the way the pace of this game has gone to see them kind of hold for the final shot, even though there's 90 seconds left. Maybe get into some offense. Here's Fennell roll dodging. Fennell using the screener and puts it in beyond Thomas Kelly, his defender. Short-lived lead, just 30 seconds between goals.
Very, very impressive goal there from Stevie Fennell Jr. Like I mentioned before, he's a strong kid. He's able to dodge. He scores. He's a good runner. And that was a hard shot to make. He was getting hounded by that Cyclones defense and was really able to get that shot off. I'm not even sure how he was able to do that, and was able to beat Gentile low to give Garden City the 2-1 lead around the minute 30 remaining. Big place of momentum now for the Trojans.
Face-off won by Cascadon, but picked up by Southside. As it was well played by Thomas Kelly, as Kelly tries to swim over midfield. He does. Cascadon gives him one little shove and then kind of gets caught in between, as it looked like something came off his stick and he had to come back to retrieve it.
I thought head coach Fennell was actually telling him to stay back on the field, but you're right, something did fall off his stick there, forcing him to come back on and get that.
Back to that goal by Fennell. He was well defended, as Kelly was right on him. Fennell creating a little bit of space and almost a blind shot as he did a little spinorama at the top of the box. Final 40 seconds of this first quarter. Nassau County Class B semifinal between Garden City and Southside. A game that in years past normally played at Sherwood Stadium in Hofstra, but with everything this year, home field for host teams. A tough shot in tight by Southside, and wow, the official saying that it's Garden City ball. It looked like TJ Sheehan was closest to the point of exit, but Garden City will have it. They have to hurry. 17 seconds left. Archer and Sheehan step for step. Archer's pass a little bit low, handled by Staub. 7 seconds left. Shot, goal! inside for Staub. And Garden City scores with 4 seconds left to take a 3-1 lead.
What an overall play there by this Trojans team. Mike DeLuca making the hustle play out of bounds to regain possession. Got the ball up to Kephart. Kephart made the nice pass, hitting Staub right around the 20-yard line, getting his 6th goal of the year. Like I said before, he's a defenseman that's able to score this ball. That's a big goal for the Garden City Trojans, making this 3-1, basically heading in at the end of the first quarter.
And again, a big call made by the officials on that south side shot with about 17 seconds left, where it looked like Sheehan was closest to it for Southside. Garden City gets the possession, and they score quickly. Time expires on the first half of play. Sheehan got a little shove on Costello, and things get a tad bit heated as Kyle Carney takes exception to the hit from Southside. But the first quarter comes to a close, and the Garden City Trojans have a 3-1 advantage, trying to make it 8 wins in a row and another trip to the Nassau County Championship game. Stay with us on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Southside in the huddle trying to gather themselves a little bit after that spurt by Garden City at the end of the first quarter. Scored 2 goals in the final 88 seconds to take a 3-1 advantage. Take a look at the playoff bracket here on semifinal Friday as Garden City knocked off Herricks in the quarterfinals. Southside was able to defeat Calhoun. Later tonight, also on Varsity Media Sports Network, MacArthur and Cary, as MacArthur knocked off East Meadow and Cary defeated Long Beach in the quarterfinals. So the winner of these 2 games today will play next Wednesday, 4:30 at Mitchell Field. And the Long Island Championship will be Saturday at East Islip High School.
Matt, you mentioned before how this game is usually played at Hofstra University, now being played at Garden City because of all COVID. I think it changes the dynamic of the game a little bit. Of course, you still see a lot of Southside students in that section, contrary also to the ton of Garden City students. I think both of these guys are trying to get their teams going.
Oh, for sure. You get to, if you're Garden City, you get to get dressed in your own locker room. There's a face-off win for Southside. So far, fairly even on the face-off advantage. Garden City has a 3-2 advantage in that category, but now Southside having a little trouble getting it over. Right now it's in the stick of the goalie Gentile, and Gentile's going to come over midfield. Gentile's going into the box. Gentile's all by himself. He shoots, and he scores! Tommy Gentile, the sophomore goalie for Southside, has just scored a goal for the Cyclones.
All I can say is, wow. That was a crazy play from start to finish.
It was almost like the Garden City defense was waiting for a timeout to be called, which is almost what you expect in that situation.
The Garden City defense got caught flat-footed after that face-off loss. That's the first time I've ever seen a goalie goal there. And, taking another look at that one there, Tommy Gentile, no reason for him to stop right there. He had all sorts of room. No one stepped up there. You can see Drew Quinn, the goaltender, kind of yelling at his defense after that one. That's a crazy, crazy sequence now, right into the to the second quarter of this game.
And we have a whistle and a procedure against Garden City in a face-off win for Southside. So we've had already, we're a couple seconds into the second quarter, and we've had some craziness already. Staub scores his 6th goal of the season off of a somewhat questionable call down the other end. And you have a goalie, the only other one, Jack, in my memory, and you have to go a ways back a little bit, is back when West Islip and Ward Melville were kind of at each other's throats around like 2010, 2011 or so. The West Islip goalie scored a goal in overtime in the end of the regular season game to beat Ward Melville.
That is crazy, crazy stuff.
So here is Southside trying to tie this game early on in this second quarter. And we saw it in the regular season finale against MacArthur. MacArthur's goalie came over just over midfield, and the head coach said, okay, that's enough. Normally, that's what happens. He calls a timeout. In tight, Brady West, a little trouble with it. Quinn, aggressive, and comes up with the possession. Good outlet pass ahead as well to Archer. Archer over midfield. Trojans with numbers. Pierce Archer down low, goal line extended. Here it comes. Connolly had to readjust and puts it in the back of the net.
Ryan Connolly, another goal. Feels like he's doing this every single day, countless times and times again. You see the Garden City bench there holding up their sticks in celebration. Ryan Connolly leading this team in goals so far this season and gets a big one there after a little bit of momentum from the goalie goal scored by Southside. Connolly was able to make a great play.
And Connolly, when he first caught that pass, he was a little south of goal line extended, so he was below the goal line. He had to kind of veer out, come up, and switch hands to the left side, and able to get a better angle on that shot for the readjustment. So heads-up play by a senior attackman, and a procedure coming over from the wing. I don't know what the officials are seeing. It looked because the two face-off men hadn't even gone down yet. And we already got a whistle going against Garden City. That's the second consecutive procedure on the face-off that we've seen from the Trojans. And Southside has an advantage at the face-off X so far in this game, but Garden City leading on the scoreboard 4-2. Well, I'd say if you look at the pacing of this game over the last few minutes, definitely favors Garden City. They are a team that can get out and run and put up some track meet numbers. Southside, a team that I wouldn't say is plotting, but they definitely like to play, at least this season, a bit more conservative game, a little bit more possession game, especially against this potent offense. Here's Kelly trying to work around his man. Kelly's shot just a little bit wide. Garden City has got it. Ahead it comes to Archer. Archer, quick pass up ahead. Well timed for Staub, but Staub lost it to West.
Thomas Kelly able to clear the zone there for the Southside Cyclones. He's playing well so far, trying to create some offensive opportunities for this Cyclones team. And like you said before, Matt, although Southside likes to, play with a sort of conservative matchup here, they're trying to change things up a little bit against such a crazy Garden City team.
Here's Mindel working his way back behind the cage for Considine. Southside getting back to work offensively. TJ Sheehan with it. Goal line extended near side. Staying with him is Brendan Staub, the junior. Sheehan trying to roll around Staub. Works it back towards X. Turnaround shot off the head of Quinn. And the possession will go to Southside. Mindel was giving chase along with, it looked like, Costello for Garden City. And we'll have a timeout taken by Southside. 8:39 to go in the first half. A good one here from Garden City. It's 4-2 Trojans on top on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Welcome back to Garden City. The Trojans with a 4-2 advantage. Matt Shortis, Jack Stanky with you. And, somewhere in that huddle is the sophomore keeper for Southside, Tommy Gentile. And so far, even with the 4 goals that he's surrendered today, there are a few players perhaps on the field who are having a better day. He's had about 4 saves and a goal to start the second quarter.
Matt, out of all the stats that you wrote about the saves, the save percentage, the goals allowed average, I would never expect to see a goal written down there, and that's exactly what we had. A very big rarity there, almost adding a lot of uniqueness to this game so far. That's been a great game. Southside's really putting up a good fight against this Garden City team, and they look to gain some momentum here after that most recent goal by Garden City, find themselves down 2 with a little over 8 minutes left in the half.
Bit more up-tempo than the game we saw a few weeks ago in the regular season. That one had Garden City leading 4-3 at halftime, but it was raining pretty much the entire game. It was a little bit slower track. This one, almost perfect conditions, a little bit overcast, cooler temperatures than we've had in the last few days where we were up in the 90s earlier in the week.
Calling the game here on Wednesday, I was dying up in this press box because of the heat.
Here's Melkonian. Up top it comes, swing around for West at the left point. West trying to make his way through the pole. West shoved aside down low. Now he goes inside the Garden City check, and how about a save by Quinn for the partial split and making the stop.
Drew Quinn, the goaltender for the Garden City Trojans, focuses solely on lacrosse. Decided to throw all his time and effort there. He's he's righty, he commands the defense very well. He's going to Vassar College next year to play lacrosse there, and you can see why after only allowing 2 goals here to a Southside team that does like to push the pace of play and score the ball a lot.
Historically, Garden City, whether it be the lacrosse field or the football field, very defensively oriented teams, defensively minded teams, and no exception this year. Here's Bobby Seal. First Garden City possession in a little while here. Since the goal from Connolly at the 10-12 mark. So it's been about 3 minutes since Garden City had possession. Talked about that substitution. Here's Fennell coming in. Fennell shot, saved by Gentile. Boy, he and Quinn going shot for shot and save for save for both of their squads.
Great move there by Fennell Jr., making a little swim dodge over the defender, able to get that shot off. I didn't even see the ball go into Gentile's pocket at first, but he did make the save. A very nice one there to be exact as well.
Successful clear for Southside, as that has been a pretty strong part of their game so far. In the second half against Garden City a few weeks back, that was where Garden City thrived. They did very well on the ride, and they created turnovers for Southside and really limited their offensive possession in the second half. Up top, this is Billy Moore. First time we've called his name today. He turns on a dime at goal line extended. Good recovery, though, by the defender and Seal. Low pass picked up by Kelly. Here's Kelly with the pole on him. And Costello. Kelly, West, and Sheehan inverting back up at the midfield as well. Here's a shot. Quinn got a helmet on that one. Karam's out near the Southside sideline, but takes a Garden City bounce, and then a well-timed check by Brady West to knock the stick out of Brendan Staub's hands, and out of bounds. It'll be Southside ball.
A bunch of nice defensive plays here by the Cyclones midfielders, knocking the sticks out of the hands of some of the Garden City players, especially the ball. That's, I think, the 3rd time now to try and get possession back. And possession is key in lacrosse. That's why the face-off X is so vitally important. And the team that dominates in possession most of the time dominates in the game as well.
Especially in a game like this for Southside specifically, where they are a team that requires, in a sense, much like they did during the football season, a little bit more time offensively to get going. And Garden City is a team that can put up points in seconds at times. Here is West off a screen. Trying to move his way inside. Picked up by Kephart. Back up top it comes for Billy Moore. He's got some good speed as a junior. Stands slowly filling up here, even with some later arriving fans. Down low inside Sheehan. Sheehan gets sent to the turf. A shot. And West is backing up. Just made the slide in time. The Southside defense was trying to get West to hurry up because Quinn was out of cage.
Great defensive play there by Brendan Staub, knowing exactly where his goaltender was, therefore stepping up on defense, really making sure that Sheehan couldn't get any easy shots off.
Inside 4.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. 4-2, Garden City on top. Most recent goal by Ryan Connolly. There's the senior Thomas Kelly committed to Binghamton. Kelly on the run, looked like he was getting ready to shoot it. Instead, ushered back to X by his defender, Brendan Staub. We've called Staub's name quite a bit today. He's had a couple of well-timed checks, caused turnovers, and a goal as well. Turnaround shot, inside post, nobody backing up. It'll be Garden City ball, as it just was inside and left of that near side post. So Trojans will have it.
Drew Quinn is such a great presence in the net for the Garden City Trojans, making saves all over the place, really stands there, knows how to defend the angles very well, and definitely seeing why he's only allowed 2 goals here, and we're almost at halftime.
Interesting, Garden City brought all their defensemen up near the midfield line, and Southside elected to kind of shadow them, so nobody was putting a whole lot of pressure on Quinn, and a relatively easy clear for Garden City. And they have it with 3:15 to go in the first half of play and a 4-2 advantage. Fennell getting some run with O'Connor and Bobby Seal in this midfield group. Here's Downey finding Engelke. A very senior-laden attack. And some big bodies down there, too, between Downey and Engelke, both over 6 feet tall. Here's Fennell with the short stick matchup on him. Downey. Good recovery defensively by Erickson. Pat Erickson, that is.
You see Ryan Connolly waiting right near that GLE south side of the south side net. Connolly already has a goal today, looking to add to that. He's been so vital in this Garden City attack. A few more goals from him could secure a victory here for the Trojans.
Downey up top, it comes for Connolly. Connolly well defended by Matt Lazito. But Lazito lost his footing. Here's Seal, lets one go. Sails over the crossbar.
Good look by Bobby Seal, heading to Syracuse next season. He's a soccer player as well as lacrosse. A very dynamic player, says head coach Steve Fennell, and has the energy to run all day.
2 minutes to go in the first half of play. 2-goal game with Garden City on top. Here's Downey. Some footwork inside. Missing it wide. But Garden City all of a sudden putting a lot more rubber towards cage. This is Fennell. Fennell shooting on the run. It looked like Gentile hit that off the shoulder pads. Took a big bounce. And the Trojans being, I don't want to say less selective, but they are having a bit more focus on getting shots earlier in the possession now. This is O'Connor. He's got a goal today. And we'll have a timeout. With 1:20 to go, Steve Fennell wanting to talk things over. Hoping his team can extend the lead. As I mentioned something to you before, Jack, about the substitution patterns. And we'll take a look a moment ago earlier in this half. You saw, here's Fennell coming on. Because the defensive midfielder went off kind of late in the possession, and Southside was waiting for the defensive midfielder to go off, so their defender that was matched up with them could go off as well. So Garden City, when they're shooting, when their offense is on their bench side of the field, they kind of play that substitution game a little bit and try and get some unsettled situations, and almost paid off in a goal on that play.
I love the term they use, unsettled situations, because talking to head coach Steve Fennell, and especially talking to some of the players on this Garden City team, they almost call it organized chaos. Now, I'm doing quotation marks because that's an oxymoron, because chaos is not organized at all. But Fennell loves to run this offense in the way that he knows how to run it. And Fennell, of course, has that ton of experience as well as a lacrosse coach. It's his 15th season. He played at Duke. That's a feat just in itself. He's also on the football team. He's led this team to 10 county titles, 6 Long Island championships, and a 2-time state championship winner in 2012 and 2013. So whatever works for him, if he wants to run the organized chaos, he runs it, and it's worked out very well for this Garden City team over the years.
Not to mention playing here at Garden City as well. So he knows the expectations, but you mentioned organized chaos being an oxymoron. It's not so much if you know what's coming, right? And Garden City is the one that's able to orchestrate that a little bit. When you have to react, it feels a bit more chaotic.
That's exactly the position that the Trojans are trying to put the Cyclones in here, and they have some goals based off that today so far.
Garden City back to work with 72 seconds left in this first half. A 4-2 advantage for the Trojans. Offense humming. The way they're passing the ball around almost looks like they're on the man up right now. Here's Downey up at the top. Connolly feeding it back for Engelke. All three attackmen getting a touch. Near side it comes for Connolly. Connolly right on the crease for Fennell, who just missed it wide. Coming over was Lazito, Matt Lazito, to get a body on Fennell just in time. Inside a minute to go. The end of that first quarter, Garden City scored 2 goals in the final minute and 28 seconds, with Fennell and Staub getting in on the action.
Looks like Garden City is going to try and hold for almost the last shot here with around 30 seconds remaining. Hopefully getting another one. They scored with 4 seconds left in the first. Trying to score a late one here to keep the momentum their side of the field.
Engelke, now Lazito put some pressure on him. 22 seconds show on the clock. Seal up top for Schmidt. Schmidt getting a move on a defender and puts it low left corner to give the Garden City Trojans a 3-goal advantage.
Taking another look at that goal right there, Luke Schmidt, one of the best midfielders that we see on this Garden City team, able to orchestrate the offense so well. Luke Schmidt getting in. He loves to use that right hand of his, getting the hands free in a very risky and tough situation, and able to beat Gentile low, giving Garden City that 5th goal of the game. Like I said before, Matt, they wanted the late goal to keep the momentum on their side of the field, and that's exactly what the Trojans delivered.
A low-scoring second quarter, only 3 goals in the quarter, and Garden City, their last goal coming 10 minutes ago at the 10-12 mark of the second. And we go to the face-off X. Haggerty thought he had it, but Cascadden comes away with it. 10 seconds left. Cascadden moving in tight, shoots one on a bounce high over the cage. He was looking for one more before the half came to a close. 5 seconds left. Downey brings it in quickly. 3 seconds now. Downey around a curl. Downey, goal line extended. Shot will not count, even if it goes in. And the half comes to a close. The Trojans outscore Southside both in the first and second quarters. They take a 5-2 lead into the halftime break, Jack.
Matt, this has been an all-around great game here from both sides of the field and both sides of the ball for both teams there. That most recent goal coming from Luke Schmidt, the varsity quarterback starter for football as well. He's such an athletic kid, knows what he's doing there. Again, this Garden City team is run off kids with amazing IQ on the lacrosse field. And leading that to the 5-2 lead that Garden City holds right now, hoping to try and keep that now for the remainder of the game, is the Trojans.
So Garden City, again, with a 3-goal advantage at halftime. We'll step aside. You're watching the Nassau County Boys Class B semifinals on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end of season
Welcome back to Garden City High School. Matt Shortis, Jack Stanky with you as we are moments away from the start of the third quarter in the Nassau County Boys Class B semifinal game. A trip to the championship in Mitchell Field next Wednesday evening on the line. And Garden City, Jack leading Southside by a score of 5-2. And defensively, they looked pretty strong in the first half. Offensively, things were moving pretty well, and this guy, Gentile, is a big reason why Southside's been able to stay in this game.
This guy is a little bit of an understatement for the way that Gentile's been playing so far, making a ton of saves for this Cyclones defense as well. He scored a goal, and considering that Southside only has 2 in the first half, that's got to account for something there, as he scored one early. But he definitely has been playing very well. He has great reflexes, as I've seen so far in the game. He's able to really shut down those opportunities taken by the Garden City offense. The word potent has been described by you to describe this Garden City offense, so it's definitely a challenge stopping them in any case. And Gentile, I feel like, is doing a great job, especially as a sophomore.
Yeah, it's a Garden City squad that, although perhaps more towards over the last four games, 3 of them have come against the 7 and 8 seeded teams for these playoffs. They've scored 19 goals per contest over the last 4 games, and I don't care who you're playing against. That's nothing to sneeze at. So offensively, by comparison, they've been held in check a little bit so far today. Again, another look at the bracket here in this first semifinal. It's Garden City Southside. Later today at MacArthur High School on the Varsity Media Sports Network, we'll have Cary against MacArthur as Garden City knocked off Herricks. Southside knocked off Calhoun. MacArthur beat East Meadow, and Cary defeated Long Beach on Monday in the Nassau County quarterfinals.
A lot of dominating matchups we saw in the first round of playoff play, including a Garden City Trojans victory, again, like you said, over the Herricks Highlanders, 23-2, and Southside dominating their matchup again to bring them to the spot where they are right now. We're going to start the second half shortly, and I think that we're in for a really good one here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Southside hoping at least the story of the face-off X stays pretty much the same. It was 50-50. Each team won 4 apiece between Cascadon and Haggerty. And a procedure, this one going against Southside, so Garden City will have it. Cascadon will stay on with Haggerty going off, so an unsettled situation, and Cascadon buries it in the back of the net.
That's what Jack Cascadon loves to do there, Matt. Take another look at that one there. Called for a violation with Southside. Cascadon, he loves to score those goals right off the bat. He caught the Cyclones defense flat-footed, really able to get through, getting the hands free right around the 20-yard line, and beating Gentile with the bounce shot, giving Garden City this 6-2 lead.
For Haggerty, sort of an interesting decision there, going off the field. I don't think he expected Cascadon to stay on the field and move into the offense, but that's what he did. Cascadon wins this one cleanly.
That's why you said before, Matt, organized chaos. No one knew what Cascadon was going to do right there, and they ended up leaning to the goal as Southside was, again, caught without knowing what to do there.
Freshman Michael Melkonian taking that draw and staying on as Cascadon's back to work along with this Garden City offense. Sun kind of coming out over the field now as we had an overcast day to start. Here is Seal coming in offensively. Pierce Archer on as well, a senior. So Archer will head off. And Gerard O'Connor back on.
O'Connor got the first goal for this Garden City Trojans team in this contest today. O'Connor, another multi-sport athlete. He's the kicker on football. He played basketball in his JV years. So he definitely is a Swiss Army knife type player, type athlete to be included.
So the whole first line group on for Garden City in Seal, O'Connor, and Luke Schmidt. And Schmidt's got it over the Spartan logo just shy of midfield. Near side it comes for Downey. And a low-scoring third quarter. We just saw 3 goals, but Garden City getting the scoring started early on in this third. We saw goals now in the first minute of both the second and third quarter. Here's Downey, skip pass up top, extra pass down low. Here it comes from goal line extended. Back up top, it comes for O'Connor. Well-timed slides and good sound positional defense for Southside.
Looks like Connolly was going to make something happen there on the north side of the GLE, but the Cyclones defense was able to kind of neutralize that opportunity for the Trojans very, very well, like they've been doing all game. 6 goals for this Garden City team, not a lot through 3 minutes into the second half.
Downey looked like he thought he was thinking about it. Connolly up top. Being teed up by Matt Lazito, the most senior of the defense. Takes a shot. I think Gentile got a piece of that one. And Connolly was closest to it for Garden City, so they will maintain the possession. And the angle with the sun and the way it's kind of glinting off the field for both us and the fans in attendance, a little tougher to see the numbers, and a bit, especially the way that Garden City has their color scheme, and a little tougher to see the ball. This ball knocked down, picked up by Southside for the moment, comes near midfield, and we have a whistle on an over and back against the Trojans, so Southside will have it. Here's Kelly trying to bulldodge his way in. So first possession for Southside in the second half comes over 3 minutes into the quarter. Garden City already tallying 1 with Kaskanen on the opening draw, scoring 9 seconds into the quarter. So the Trojans having a 4-goal advantage in this third. Here's Considine. Boy, really aggressive defense from Malahi now. And Considine chased out of the box.
Malahi fighting to keep that starting position. This Garden City defense is so deep. He's playing very well today.
Brady West, shot fake. Moves back behind the cage for Sheehan. Roll dodging inside. Sheehan, a tough angle, moves it inside, and it's knocked away. Scooped up by Costello. Costello moving ahead to Staub. Not afraid to go over as a pull is Staub. And into the box is Gerard O'Connor. So again, very stout Garden City defensively. Joe Jacobina, the assistant coach for the Trojans, does a great job with their defense. He's been an assistant with Steve Fennell for a decade. And when you have that sort of longevity within a coaching staff, it only helps. Here's a turnaround shot going off the cage, and a battle for it. It'll be Southside possession.
Another controversial out-of-bounds call there as you see the Garden City parents hopping up out of frustration. It looks like Downey almost got there making a hustle play just like DeLuca did on the other side for Garden City. Southside was able to retake possession.
Yeah, I would agree that play in the first half led to a Garden City goal. Well, the Garden City fans were pretty pleased about that one at the time. I think it's important also to reiterate the rule is the person closest not to the end line but to where the ball goes out of bounds and at the point that the ball goes out of bounds. Right now, Carey on top of MacArthur, 8-5. Here's a shot in tight, and Quinn the stop. Boy, a shot on the run by West. And Quinn comes up with a huge save. Garden City trying to clear now. Here's Fennell, stood up defensively. Fennell lost the ball, well defended by Sheehan. Boy, a good ride by Southside.
Southside looking to slow it down now. I completely agree with that decision as held to only 2 goals right now. We're almost halfway through the third quarter. They're struggling a little bit, and one of their goals has even come from their goalie, so their offense is definitely a little stagnant right now. They got to get something going.
Sheehan looking in tight, turnaround shot. Quinn with the stop. What a save on Matt Melkonian.
Big save by Drew Quinn. Melkonian almost right at the top of the crease, had a great look there. Quinn was able to get his stick down to make the save.
Boy, in tight, right at the top of the big circle for the field hockey. So it was about 7 yards in front of the goal on the turnaround shot by Melkonian. He was looking for his 8th goal of the season. Southside students in attendance trying to liven things up for this Southside defense. Moving tight for Seal, and Seal had his man beat but shot it high. And then Thomas Kelly gave him a little push. And I think the push was clean, but it looked like he said something to him after, and that's always a little dicey. If the official saw that, he could have blown a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think after getting knocked down and being said something to, Bobby Seal didn't really say anything bad, just pointed up to the scoreboard as the Trojans still have the 6-2 lead.
And that's the smart thing to do, because it's usually the person who says something back or hits back that gets penalized. A shot from Pinnell going wide here.
I always found that crazy, Matt, that not only in lacrosse but in all sports, the instigator usually isn't the one getting in trouble. It's the one whose reaction says it all.
In tight, Downey. His shot hits the post. Ground ball picked up by Kelly of Southside. Rolls out of trouble. But he's got 3 Garden City defenders around him on the near side. Loses his stick. Well-timed check by Downey, and he's got the ball. Boy, I don't think we have seen as many yard sales as we have seen today. I think there's been about 4 or 5 instances where guys have lost their sticks. Might not have seen that many over the course of this season.
That's what happens, Matt, when you land a really well-timed check, is what both these teams are really good at doing.
A playoff atmosphere. Defense is ratcheting up intensity a little bit. There's Connolly up top at the top of the box. He's got a short stick on him in the form of Andrew Meindl. Quick movement from the Garden City offense now. Downey was looking down towards Fennell, but thought better of it. And he moves at the top of the box. 3 minutes to go in the third. Garden City on top 6-2. Only 1 goal scored so far in this third quarter.
That goal came very early from Jack Cascadden.
Downey positioning in tight. Lost the ball before he could get the shot off. Thomas Kelly's got it. I mean, Kelly was the one who lost his stick a moment ago. Comes over from Seal and gets the ball into the stick of Matt Melkonian, who was an absolute workhorse for the Cyclones football team a few weeks back, as it wasn't uncharacteristic to see him having 20-plus carries, 200 yards on the ground.
That stat line ran right there leads Matt Melkonian to a Franklin and Marshall commit heading off next season. He's a hard worker, says his head coach, showing on the football field and on the lacrosse field as well.
Billy Moore steps it into the offensive box. Inside 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Southside looking for some offense. It's been a while since that goal from their goalie, Tommy Gentile, at the 11:30 mark of the second quarter. So they're in a bit of a dry spell. West got a shoulder from Archer, regains his composure, goes in towards Cage and scores.
Great goal there scored by Brady West. Take another look at that one there. West uses his speed that he's so well known for, really able to get around the defender right there, and beats Quinn going up high. You see that again, as it looks like it's Kephart who tried to make the defensive stop there, and Brady West had a perfectly placed shot, leading to now only a 3-goal deficit that the Cyclones face. A minute 35 remaining in the third.
High and tight, off stick side for Brady West. Well-positioned goal. 6-3 now the score, and we go back to the face-off X. And it's Kaskadin against Haggerty. Kaskadin wins it again. Kaskadin throws a little bit behind Engelke and a ground ball to Southside. Lazito's got it, finds Gentile. And that's what Steve DiPietro was talking about. Even if they don't win the face-off cleanly, trying to make it a 50-50 ball. This time Southside able to capitalize off the Garden City miscue.
The ability to get possession of the ground balls is so key here in lacrosse, and that's what Southside's trying to do.
Timeout taken by Southside. 6-3, Trojans on top in the closing moments of the third quarter. We'll take a timeout as well on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
The season winds down. Don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Following the Southside goal moments ago from the junior Brady West, Southside has possession again, looking for more, trying to cut into this 3-goal deficit. Garden City 7-0 in conference, trying to win their 8th consecutive game and get a trip to the county championship.
Southside and Garden City playoff games are always fun. Facing off in basketball a few years ago at Southside was a Cyclones victory, moving them on to the next matchup. Garden City's revenge tour is looking well as they're up 3 with about a minute left in the third quarter.
Here's Brady West trying to barrel his way in and use his physical frame, but not much doing there against Brendan Staub, 2 juniors battling there. Up top, it's Billy Moore. And Moore's got Archer on him. Sheehan and West up top along with Moore, and Sheehan directing traffic. And wouldn't be surprised if Southside, I don't know, slows this down and gets into their offense maybe around the 25, 20-second mark. 30 seconds left now. There's Moore up top, retreating a little bit by a yard or two out near the football 45-yard line. Gives a look back at the clock with 20 seconds left. Here's Moore. Rolls at the top. Thought about it. West up top. Here's West. Dodging his way down towards Cage. Looks on the crease. Pass intercepted. Gets away, though. Moore with it with 4 seconds left. Here's Kelly. Kelly gets his hands free. Shoots wide as time expires. Well defended by Garden City. Southside was hoping to come away with one, but they do not. A low-scoring third quarter, a 3-goal difference as we head to the fourth with Garden City on top here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Welcome back to Garden City. Fourth quarter about to begin here on Varsity Media Sports Network. And, while we're here, it's been a great return to high school athletics since February, whether it was basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse here. So we want to thank everybody that helped make this possible. Congratulate all the athletes from January through now. We appreciate the support from athletic directors, parents, students, fans. And good luck to every senior that is graduating. And we'll see you again in the fall. Specifically today, I want to thank Eamon Flood and Pierce Archer from the Garden City side of things, Tim Sheehan from the South Side side of things. And, of course, both squads hoping they can get another game out of this at least and be playing on Wednesday. Southside and the Road Reds, they will move right to left in this fourth quarter. They've got their work cut out for them with a 3-goal deficit. Garden City trying to hold on here as Cascadon and Haggerty go to the face-off X. Haggerty able to sweep it out to the wing, scooped up by Southside, but a good job by Costello to create a loose ball, eventually picked up by Kelly. It's been a completely different story at the face-off dot from the regular season meeting. Here's Kelly moving in tight, hit hard, and the ball is dislodged. As we'll have a whistle, and it looked like, Kelly stepped into the crease.
Big time hit there by the Garden City defense right in front of Drew Quinn. Sends Thomas Kelly flying. And right before the end of the third quarter, actually, Thomas Kelly and the Garden City bench were getting into it a little bit. That might be why that big hit occurred right there, right in front of the crease. 3 guys hopped on there. Clean hit, though, no penalty called. Violation on Southside for the crease violation, and Garden City now will try and get something working on offense.
Seeing some umbrellas start to pop up. The rain's starting to fall a little bit. Nothing too crazy. It's a light rain at the moment as we're a minute into the final quarter, or the fourth quarter here at Garden City High School. Fennell on in the midfield along with Schmidt. Those two up top. Garden City's last goal coming 9 seconds into the third quarter. Off the face-off win from Jack Cascadon. It's a real slow defensive battle in this one so far. Both goalies have played exceptionally well. Here's Connolly. Connolly's pass a little high, a shot going low to high, saved by Gentile.
Another save by Tommy Gentile, the sophomore. I think win or lose, he has to be the story of the game here for both teams, scoring a goal himself and playing outstanding as the netminder for the Cyclones.
In hockey, you have the 3 stars. He would definitely be one of the 3
Definitely.
stars. Normally, it's in a close game, it's 2 from the winning team. So if things were to stand, you would make Gentile one of the 3 stars, but probably not the top star. Garden City back on defense as Southside goes to work. Sheehan in tight. Good shot, but a shot goes wide, and they're signaling it was Southside ball. I thought Quinn was closest to it, but they say Billy Moore because he was the ex-attackman. Boy, a nice look by Considine and a good 2-man game between Sheehan and Considine to set that up. Here's Sheehan, turnaround shot. Tough angle. And got a hit, and Staub says something on the way past Sheehan.
Sheehan and Considine really working well together. Despite the only 3 goals scored by this Cyclones team, those two has been at the forefront of the attack for the Cyclones all season, and they need something drastic to happen soon.
Double team, now triple team, sliding over to Considine, and Considine somehow still with the ball in his stick, finally dislodged by Staub. Brendan Staub coming over, feeding it down low, but some tenacious defense. Inside, Kephar couldn't hold on to it. Scooped up for a moment by Downey. Make it Engelke, and Gentile quickly out ahead to play that. Boy, some helter-skelter play. A key ground ball for the long pole Schwartzberg. Numbers for Southside, but a pass thrown behind West. Scooped up and saved by Considine.
Big missed opportunity there from Brady West. couldn't quite get his stick to the ball right there, get the ball in his pocket. He would have had a wide open look at the goal, but the pass was unsuccessful. And Southside's going to have to find another way to score some goals to get back into this game.
Here's Melconi and his shot whistling wide. Cary has extended their lead in the fourth quarter at MacArthur, a 9-6 advantage for the Seahawks. Here's Sheehan going in, goes 5-hole and scores. Southside within 2. It's 6-4 Garden City.
Big goal there by senior Sheehan, the Denver commit. Seemed like a pretty low shot that kind of hit a weird bounce, beating the right shoulder of Drew Quinn. And Sheehan gets a much-needed goal for the Cyclones team. They're only down 2 now with 8:20 remaining in this game.
And Sheehan just coming from goal line or from X, scores his second of the day. Cascadon, big face-off win for Garden City. Here comes the big junior. Tic-tac-toe passing, in tight, ball blocked before it could get to Gentile. Scooped up and a save by Gentile. Boy, Tommy Engelke was right on the spot, and he put it on goal, but Gentile made a huge save, and Southside has the possession.
Barely getting the shaft of the stick right there on the ball was Gentile. Another big save by the Cyclones, keeping this a 2-goal game.
Cyclones trying to get this over midfield. Garden City doing a pretty good job riding right now, but eventually Southside able to get it into the box in the form of Billy Moore. Two-goal contest. Last time Garden City had only a 2-goal game. It was the 10-12 mark of the second quarter. Ball knocked away, turned over. Big play by Thomas Kelly. Kelly will hold on to it as he's near the football 25-yard line. Southside throwing a lot more rubber at the cage than we've seen through the first 3 quarters of this game. There's West on a dodge. West shooting and scoring. Back-to-back goals for Southside. And it's a 1-goal contest.
Taking another look at that one right there. Grady West, the senior, able to get past the defender, getting the hands free. Another low bouncing shot from Quinn, who looked like he was in pretty good position right there to make the stop. And what do you know, it's a 1-goal game now, 6:56 remaining in the game. Ton of people standing now in the crowd. We're in for a great ending here at Warren King Field.
3 unanswered goals for Southside. Garden City, the advantage, 6-5, and Jack Cascadon coming alive the later this game goes. He's won 3 consecutive faceoffs now.
That's what Cascadon came from Chaminade to do, was to win these big faceoffs here in big-time games, and you can't get much bigger than an elimination postseason game here at home in front of the home crowd.
And it's been over a quarter of time since Garden City scored a goal with Cascadon's goal. 9 seconds into the third quarter. Trojans giving their defense a little bit of a rest as they've played a lot defensively in this fourth. Now they get into the offense. Here's Seal around his man. Seal near side for Connolly. Connolly takes a step, shoots it wide. Gentile tracked that. Good job by Downey to back up and maintain the possession for the Trojans.
Good look there by the offense, trying to pick that top right corner past Gentile. Unsuccessful, but Downey was in great position there to keep the ball in the hands of the Trojans offense.
Downey lost it for a moment, able to recover. Not much stress from Pat Erickson, the defender. Schmidt and Seal up top. Inside, 6 minutes to go in this one. Here's Schmidt. Pushed off by his defender. Down to Gerard O'Connor, who got the scoring started back in the first quarter for Garden City. O'Connor, pass or shot deflected. Actually goes into the cage under the uprights here on the football field. This Southside defense, again, sound positionally, perhaps not being as aggressive as Garden City's defense has been today, but they're getting in the way and blocking shots right now. Up top, Schmidt lets it fly. Gentile got a piece of that one.
Big opportunity there by Luke Schmidt. Already has the goal in this game here. Tried to get the low shot past Gentile, and Gentile is all over the net there, able to stop that one.
A minute gone by on this possession. Here's Downey in tight. Downey changes the angle, whistles wide past the cage. All of a sudden you see the urgency from Garden City as well, as they are taking a lot more chances. Here is O'Connor. Up top, they swing it around left side. Downey with it. Downey will move it to Seal and Schmidt. Inside 5 minutes to play in a one-goal game. Garden City leads 6-5. Luke Schmidt, quarterback of the Garden City football team, is used to winning late season games. 2 county titles in his 2 football seasons as quarterback. There's a senior Downey with it. He's been a prolific scorer this year, 22 goals and 8 assists for Garden City. Connolly as well, who just had a touch on it. 28 goals on the season coming into today. Here's Seal. Lazito knocked the stick away. Trying to lead the pack for Southside. That was Schwartzberg, pardon me, on the check. And Southside's got it. Inside 4 to play, down by 1.
This is the biggest possession that Southside will have the entire game. Down 1, 3:30 remaining. Getting the big turnover forced right there. And the ball is in the hands of Brady West, one of their most reliable players. Already has 2 on the day so far.
Defense chant coming from the Garden City fans. Here's West, around 1 defender, shoots it, and a save by Quinn. And a huge play by Brendan Staub, diving for the loose ball, and a possession to Garden City.
Brendan Staub truly does it all for this Garden City team. Was able to score a goal this game, a great defender, and able to get one of maybe the biggest hustle plays so far for the Trojans this game.
Garden City doing a good job clearing the ball, able to get it over midfield. Gerard O'Connor and Brendan Staub playing catch. O'Connor steps it into the box. And I thought for a second that Garden City was going to call a timeout. They do not. O'Connor and Fennell coming in the midfield, waiting for one more Garden City player. Looks like Schmidt. It looks like Pierce Archer, pardon me, who's primarily been a defensive midfielder this year. He and Mike DeLuca have been so big for the Trojans defensively, but he's in a big spot offensively in this game.
Not only have they been big defensively, but they truly act as leaders for the younger kids on this team, as well as some of their peers also in 12th grade. 2 great leaders. Pierce Archer, also a captain on the football team as well. Can't be more of a leader than that.
Here is the sophomore Fennell. And he was in a little bit of danger, and the head coach of Garden City, Steve Fennell Sr., decides to take a timeout. 2:03 to go in a 1-goal contest. Trip to the county championship on the line when we come back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
As the season winds down, don't let the memories of an unusual season fade. Let Varsity Media relive the season filled with great plays, exhilaration, and joy with a highlight video. For the athletes going to college, Varsity Media's recruiting videos have been the engine that drives the application to the coach. Our history has shown a Varsity Media recruiting video has saved parents hundreds of thousands of dollars. For the athletes not yet ready for college, a Varsity Media highlight video will be remembered forever, and the highlights will be there for life. An end-of-season team highlight video will capture a successful season filled with hard work, unpredictability, a testament to the administration and athletes. Call Varsity Media today to start creating a video filled with highlights from a very unusual season. Highlights that will forever be watched. Contact us at 516-403-2050.
Garden City up by 1, closing minutes of the fourth quarter with a trip to the county championship on the line. Matt Shortis, Jack Stanky with you. Jack, can't ask for more than this at this point of the year.
You obviously cannot, Matt. If you're a lacrosse fan, and especially a lacrosse fan on Long Island, this is the exact type of game that you love to tune into. There's goals, not too many of them. There's smart play. I can't reiterate that enough. The IQ of the players on the field and of the coaches on the sidelines have led this game and paced this game to the way that it is right now. Both teams trying to kind of force their way of play onto the other team, and both teams have done it pretty successfully here. I mean, it's only a one-goal game. We thought that this was going to be a great game, but not this good. I'm sure that we're all very lucky to be witness to this game right now.
Sophomore Tommy Gentile has been phenomenal between the pipes today for Southside. Garden City with possession out of the timeout. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Cary and MacArthur. Right now, the Seahawks have a 12-7 lead at the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter. They have opened that one up in the fourth. The keep it in warning is up as we are inside 2 minutes.
Garden City has two options here, either to play with a sense of urgency and try and get an insurance goal in, or try and slow down the pace a little bit like they've done a good job of all day and just hope that they don't give a bad turnover.
High pass and a good job defensively by Southside, but an even better job by Fennell to save that one from going out of bounds. That was nearly a turnover. 30 seconds already elapsed on this possession. Fennell loses his footing, keeps the ball though. We'll see if Southside elects to have the goaltender come out and play as an extra defender at any point. Minute 14 to go. Sort of an old school stall here. Fennell getting ahead of his defender. Fennell getting in front, shooting over the crossbar. And a good job by Pierce Archer backing up just enough to keep the possession for Garden City.
That was a little too close to that Trojans team there. Tommy Gentile, the goaltender, was almost able to get there. Under a minute remaining in this game, a big play by Archer.
There's Archer back behind the cage. Gentile still hugging the post. A double team comes over, though, as Southside's got to create a turnover. Ball to the turf, picked up by Lazito of Southside. Inside a minute to go, ball knocked down, and Garden City's got the ground ball into the stick of Fennell. And a timeout taken by Garden City. Steve Fennell had that second timeout in his back pocket. Southside with a golden opportunity, get the turnover that they want, unable to clear the ball, and right now it's Garden City ball with 37 seconds left.
I mentioned before, Matt, that possession is key and that turnovers are deadly in any sport, but specifically lacrosse. A bad turnover there by Archer near the north side GLE, but a long clear pass attempted by Southside was really hounded on by midfielder number 3, Bobby Seal for the Garden City Trojans. And Brendan Staub made the nice play. Instead of reversing it back towards his goalie, he forces the ball more towards the east side of the field from your guys' angle here. And Steve Fennell, the coach, who definitely knows what he's doing, such great experience there from Fennell, is able to use that timeout, which he saved so perfectly, exactly for this moment right here.
So Southside's got a tall order. They have to create a turnover, get downfield, and try and get the equalizer all in 37 seconds or less. What they did right at the end of that Garden City possession was bring Matt Lazito over as a helping defender, and it worked out. So we'll see. You'd imagine Southside will start to double the ball. Gentile's got to be on his toes as the goalie. Garden City might try and take advantage of that to score the insurance goal, but they'll continue to work as much clock as they can.
Just like Gentile has done the entire day, I expect nothing different from the sophomore goaltender for the Cyclones. Playing great so far. He's truly done everything he can. Just Garden City has outplayed them in the little things, in the hustle to the ground balls, flying out of bounds. Those were all big in the game. So that is what leading Garden City to the 6-5 lead. Let's see if they can hold on for the next 37.5 seconds.
6 different goal scorers today for Garden City. O'Connor, Fennell, Staub, Connolly, Schmidt, and Kiskanen. So spreading it around today. And they'll try to continue to spread it around with this 37 seconds left. Connolly is getting the double team. He moves it back towards X behind the cage. Already 10 seconds elapsed.
You'll see this double team right here, Matt, like we were talking about right there at the break, coming on from the Cyclones. Flag is thrown. Delayed penalty is called on Southside.
Boy, what a job Connolly is doing. Gentile comes out, but the whistle will blow. And a penalty coming up on Southside. A desperation defensive play on a check. So Southside will go man down for the final 15 seconds. Garden City says thank you very much. They get to go man up as they try to continue to kill off this clock with a 1-goal advantage. Penalty against Pat Erickson. So they lose one of their close defensemen.
Ryan Connolly truly made the amazing play right there for the Garden City Trojans. He was hounded by, at one point, 4 Cyclones defenders, able to get that ball and draw the penalty.
Here's Seal towing the end line with 10 seconds left to look up to the crease. Seal's pass as the countdown is on for the Garden City Trojan fans. And we'll have a whistle before the clock expires as he came out of the box. So Southside, seeing a few more seconds, came off the clock after the whistle was blown. We'll see what time they officially put on the clock. Right now it says 1.4 seconds.
I'm not sure it's going to matter here, Matt. I think Southside's going to need a miracle. Oh, they're going to have 4 seconds to move this ball upfield.
Yeah, but they do have to go the entire length of the field. It's not the NBA where you could call a timeout and get the ball at half court. The 6'5" Jack Downey is right now essentially defending the inbounder. So now they put 3 seconds on the clock. So it's just a heave and a prayer. Well, the officials are gonna talk this one over.
I like the idea there by head coach Steve Fennell to throw a bunch of guys on the so-called inbounder, yet again using air quotations, to try and distract him in any way possible. The last possible thing that you want as a Trojan right now is to let that ball heave downfield and somehow miraculously with a miracle find its way into the net. That's where you see the 3 Garden City defenders shaking their sticks in front of the inbounder.
So 3 defenders on Brady West, 3 seconds left, and he is again just going to heave a prayer. Sends it downfield, 1 second left, a quick touch, and time expires. Garden City sweats out and holds on in a close one, 6-5, and they are heading to the Nassau County title game.
What a game, Matt. That sequence, I think, right there truly culminates in what this game truly was. A hectic game altogether. Garden City barely taking the win, 6-5. All around great performances by both teams. But this Garden City team, they're good. They're really, really good, and they're going to have a good shot of winning that Nassau County title.
They will take on the Cary Seahawks, who defeated MacArthur on their home turf. Garden City won the regular season matchup between those two. Mike Ferrone did not play for Cary in that game. So the Trojans will celebrate this one. And after a week where they played Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they now get to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief and get some recovery, and now don't have to play again until next Wednesday.
That's what this Garden City team does. They played Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They won Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And like you said, Matt, they are going to get some opportunity to maybe heal some nagging injuries. A couple of big pieces are going to come back from Garden City. Defenseman Cole Weber will be available on June 16th for that game. He's one of the best in his position on the entire Long Island. So we're going to see how that pans out for the Garden City defense.
So again, Garden City moving on to the B finals, and I believe the MacArthur Cary game went final. Cary was up 12-7 late in that one. So again, I believe they will be taking on Cary. How about the performance today offensively? Garden City was able to spread out the scoring, 6 different goal scorers today for the Trojans. And we talked about him at the very start of the broadcast. Jack Kiskanen at the faceoff X and how critical he was going to be. It was 50-50 for most of the game. Last few faceoffs of the fourth quarter, Cascadon and some of his championship game experience coming into equation, and he took over at the faceoff X late for Garden City.
Jack Cascadon, elected in 8th grade to go over to Chaminade High School to play lacrosse there, opted to come back here to his, I would say, hometown of Garden City, and that's exactly what they needed him to do, is win faceoffs in big situations, in big games. That's exactly what Cascadon did, and Garden City comes away with the win.
So the Trojans win their 8th consecutive game. They have not lost since Syosset several weeks back, and they move on to the county championship game to be played next Wednesday at Mitchell Field against the Cary Seahawks. So for everybody involved in our broadcast, for our producer Ben Turchin, for Jack Stanky, I'm Matt Shorta saying so long, and we'll catch you next time. Garden City is moving on to the county championship game here on Varsity Media Sports Network.